Hello, hello, everyone. I am Dr. Renita, and welcome to Leadership Live 2021 with Dr. Renita and friends. Hi, I'm so excited to have you. And for those of you all who have never met me before, or have never come to Leadership Live before, I am Dr. Renita once again. I am a leadership strategist and educational leadership strategist. I am a coach. I am an author, the author of Stepmom, Trials, Tribulations, and Triumphs, editions 1 and 2. I am also the author of While You're Sleeping, the Perfect Children of All Ages Bedtime Story. I am a wife, a mother of four. I birthed two children and I own two children, hence Stepmom, Trials, Tribulations, and Triumphs. I am a veteran educator. I am a speaker. I am a motivator. I am a mentor. I am a mentee. And I am so excited to be here with you. And I am a queen, honey. Yes, a real queen, not like a play queen. Like I don't just call myself a queen, like I'm really a queen. I am the current reigning Mrs. Black North Carolina. I am the current reigning East Coast USA National Talent Performer of the Year, as well as the Elite Southern Charms Ultimate Grand Supreme for North Carolina 2021. Like I'm a real queen. But what I am here tonight to talk to you about is leadership, because all of those titles, all of those things that I do, all involve leadership. Every single one of them. And so tonight I have a dynamic a woman who will be joining me. And so before I bring her on the screen, if for those of you all who are watching this broadcast, if you are affiliated with or went to North Carolina Central University, I need you to stand up today because one of your own is here. And we are going to be talking about something very interesting, because sometimes, we always want to level up. But do you really know when it's time? We're going to talk about timing today. But let me go ahead and bring this wonderful woman into the stream. Yeah. Oh my, here she comes.
Hey, Dr. Renita.
Hello. Oh, Dr. Peoples. Let me tell you how excited I am and honored I am to have you with me tonight. And I want you to tell the people who you are, about you, and maybe they will begin to understand the fabulous that I know you to be.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. It is my absolute pleasure to join you this evening. I am Deirdre Guion-Peoples. I am the director of the MBA program at North Carolina Central. I'm also a professor in marketing in the School of Business at NCCU. I've been at North Carolina Central for a number of years, going into my 12th year, actually, and I can barely believe that. I am a native of Durham. So for all of the Durhamites out there, hello. I have corporate experience, I have entrepreneurial experience, and now I'm an academic. And I hope to bring a little bit of all of those things to bear with you this evening as we talk about an area of leadership that is very near and dear to me. So before I started at North Carolina Central, I was on faculty at St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia in the marketing department as well. I have a PhD in marketing from the University of Utah. I have an MBA from Duke University, and I have an undergraduate degree in economics from Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. So I have had one of every type of educational experience, an HBCU, a private PWI, and a public PWI, so a little bit of everything. I also have corporate experience in banking. Right out of undergrad, I worked for Wachovia Bank in corporate loan administration, and then decided to go back to school and get my MBA and kind of pivot from banking and finance into marketing. And then I left Duke and went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and worked at General Mills in brand management for a while. Love the job, hated the weather. It was freezing cold. Anywhere Prince was at the time was a good place for me to be. So Minneapolis is always near and dear to my heart for that reason. But I moved back home and started an ad agency with a couple of friends shortly thereafter. We did all types of advertising, general market, full service ad agency. And I made a deal with myself that if I wasn't a millionaire in 5 years, that I would do something different. I wasn't, so I did. And that's when I decided to go back to school and get a PhD. So I have a lot of experience in a lot of different areas. I am also a dancer. I've been dancing probably for about as long as I've been walking, a little bit of everything, but most currently and recently I've been belly dancing and love, love, love it. And I teach belly dancing classes and I look forward to getting back into it in full swing. I'm doing it virtually now. And when the weather is nicer, we'll go outside and dance. And that's always a lot of fun. But there's nothing like dancing in the studio with wonderful mirrors and nice floors and drummers to accompany you. And it's fabulous. So I love that. Dancing to me is like breathing. So if I were not an academic, what would I be? I'd be dancing somewhere. And if I die on the dance floor, I will be dying a happy death. So I love, love, love to dance. I love to cook. I'm from a long line of Creole and Cajun cooks. Published a cookbook in 1998 called Grandma's Hands, The Heart and Soul of New Orleans Cooking, kind of a collection of family recipes, but it was also a call for me and my family to begin to record our recipes and to record the oral history that was so important and such an integral part of our family that oftentimes died when the person who knew the stories died. So that was kind of our way to begin to chronicle our family's history. And I urge all of you to do that in your lives if you too have that very strong oral tradition, which I am assuming that many people probably do have. What else about me? I like to cook, I like to eat, I like to dance, I like to sing. I sing in our church's gospel choir, and I look forward to that. I also direct the choir. I'm Catholic, and we have a small church, and unlike some other faith traditions where you have different choirs that sing on different Sundays, we sing every Sunday. And that's a big commitment and a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun. We have a fabulous minister of music who is incredibly talented. But she is also the kind of person that if you can hum or carry a tune or look like you can do anything, she's going to pull you into a leadership position. So I hope you're beginning to hear some strands and connect some dots about leadership in varying aspects of your life, because to me, that is what true leaders do. They kind of pull from all of their wells of expertise, all of the things that they have had the opportunity to work on, to gain experience in, things that they have passion around. And when they need those different skills, they're able to call on them in a very powerful and compelling way. So when Dr. Renita reached out to me and asked if I could step in, I asked her, what should I talk about? Sure, I'm happy to step in. But, do we have a theme? Do you have some suggested ideas? She said, no, whatever is your area of expertise and whatever you think will resonate with your audience. And so I'd like to do a couple of things. I'd like to first give you this idea that at times, in order to step up, you need to step out. I'll say it again. In order to step up, you may need to step out. And I'll give an example from my own personal experience to hopefully get the wheels turning for you. And then after I tell you that example, we're going to do a little assignment. The academic in me can't help giving you, it's not even homework, it's kind of a real live assignment, real time. And you might need to jot it down or write it down. So, I'm old school. I still have a pen and paper, but if you want to type it in your phone, that's fine. If you want to voice record it, that's fine. But I do want you to kind of hold on to those things later on. So that's kind of the setup. I'll give you this little story that kind of helped me get my head around this notion of stepping out to step up. And then we'll do an exercise that can hopefully help you do the same. I have been in the classroom as an academic for about 12 years at North Carolina Central, and then for 5 years. And one of the things that I decided was that I didn't think I was giving my best in the classroom. And I wanted to do something different, something new. I wanted a new challenge. I have entrepreneurial experience. I have a lot of other things that I was interested in doing. And so I brought that to the attention of my department chair and to the attention of the associate dean and to the attention of the dean. And everybody said, oh, yeah, you're wonderful. You're good. You have a lot of talent, but we need you in the classroom. And when something comes along, we'll let you know. But right now, we need to kind of keep you where you are. So I am not quite egotistical enough to think that I'm the only one that can do my job. I was doing a good job, don't get me wrong, but I didn't think and deep down inside, I didn't think that I was as effective in year 10 as I was in year 5. And sometimes when you know that it's time for a change. And for me, it was time for that. Um, so I mentioned it a couple of times, annual evaluations or when a position came up or whatever might happen, and crickets. That's what I got. So if you have a job at an academic institution, you know that nobody ever does one thing. So a part of my job is also doing research and sitting on various committees within the School of Business, committees across campus, university-wide committees, sometimes national committees, international, whatever. So I was on a committee, university, campus-wide, and one of the deans from another program has worked with me for probably 3 or 4 years, and I've been on that committee doing various assignments. And they offered me the opportunity to step into an associate dean's position in their area. And I said, oh, okay. And basically the person said, you know what? I've seen your work over the past 3 years. You've been doing a good job. You get along well with the other committee members. You come to meetings on time. You are prepared. I think you would be great. I said, thank you. I was pleased and excited. I went back to my dean because, of course, you can't just move. You have to negotiate these things and talk about these things and figure out who's going to take your teaching load and who's going to do this and who's going to cover that and who's going to put all the other little pieces in place. And my dean said, hey, no, wait. You can't go anywhere. We need you. We need you here. And what is she? And how are they going to replace you? And what are they going to do? And what? Oh, no. And I said, well, I told you that, I kind of wanted to do something different. And I think this is a great opportunity. Well, I don't know. Let me talk to them and see, because, and I don't know what they're proposing. And, we have to kind of make sure we have so many people at this level and so many people here and keep the accreditation in place and do all these things and keep all those parts moving. Okay. Long story short, that position did not pan out. My department chair and my dean were like, it's not going to work. I said, okay. But within a month or two, the dean calls me. Hey, I'd like for you to think about being the director of the MBA program. We're trying to do some reorgs and make some things happen. And I think you'd really be great for this position. And we were able to work it out. And now I'm the director of the MBA program, in addition to teaching as associate professor. So I say that as the example of how you sometimes have to step out to be able to step up, right? There are a number of nuggets and lessons in that. But what I want to do next is to give you some of the tools that we use in marketing, or a tool. I'll give you the components of the tool that we use to help our clients or our customers understand where they possibly have a strategic advantage. And it's called a SWOT analysis, SWOT. And SWOT, if you work in any business disciplines and probably even some of the other behavioral sciences, you may be familiar with the SWOT analysis. But if you are not, I will absolutely tell you what it is and show you how to do it. And we'll go through one with your own experiences. SWOT is an abbreviation for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay, and what we do in the marketing world is, if we have a client who wants to figure out where they can enter the marketplace with the best strategic advantage given their current product offerings, we go through this exercise. If you want to think about how you can reposition a brand, we go through this exercise. If you want to think about a brand or line extension, we go through this exercise. I can give you some real life business examples, but I'd also like to make sure that it's effective and useful for you. So if you write out the letters SW kind of on the left side, or type them on the left side of a page, or a screen, and then OT on the right side. That's the framework for doing your SWOT analysis. And what's key to understand is that strengths and weaknesses are internal. Those are your things. That's the stuff that you own. Opportunities and threats are external. So the opportunities and threats that we'll talk about are those things that will impact anyone playing in the same space that you're in, right? So if we're talking about a corporate client, anybody in the same industry, right? If it's a nonprofit, anybody going after the same dollars for the same target audience, okay? So strengths. What are your individual strengths? What are the strengths that you know that you know that you know? Those things that you're good at all day long, 24/7, that you shine. And 3 or 4 are good, right? So one of my strengths is that I am able to tap into a well of creativity to come up with innovative solutions to myriad issues. I am just blessed with that intuition to be able to kind of match up creative and innovative ideas to help solve problems, right? That's a strength. Another strength of mine is that I am internally motivated. I am my own sunshine 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I am a firm believer that when the sun comes up, it comes up to shine on Deirdre the same way it comes up to shine on everybody else in the whole wide world. That is what keeps me going. I don't need an attaboy, good job, woo, woo, rah, rah, you're doing good, right? That's fine. And I'm not going to shun people from doing it or shy away from it, but I don't need that type of external reinforcement. That's not me. That's not me. Another strength, I'm a good communicator. I have very good written and oral communication skills. And I can apply those skills to lots of different people, lots of different groups. So those are my 3 strengths. My weaknesses, I am not the most patient person on the planet. And if I feel like folks are messing around or trying to be, cute, coy, or sly, I don't suffer fools. And that can come off as off-putting to some, or it can come off as if I'm not being a team player. I might be too harsh, but I'm just kind of a get to the point kind of girl, right? Another weakness, and I'll list this as a weakness, is that I move quickly, and you might not think that's a weakness unless you're working in a team and you need kind of everybody on the team to move together, right? And so when you are fast and you move quickly, you might leave behind some folks that can contribute, and folks that you need to be a part of the bigger or broader vision, right? A third weakness, I can get caught up on the big picture and be dismissive of the minutia, all right? And you need both. You need the big grand idea and you need the details to get the idea executed. So what does that mean about me? That means then that if I'm Batman, I need my Robin, right? Or, Batwoman, I need my Robinette, whoever. So I need the person who's going to fill in the details while I work on the big picture. I'll pause right here because a part of being an effective leader is being honest and truthful about yourself. And it's not the who you want to be, it's the who you are right now and what you bring to the table right now. And you don't have to be anything but the best version of you. So please, please, please don't try to be what you think people want you to be, or your strengths need to be the strengths that you read. They are what they are, and just start where you are, and that's fine. I know that I move quickly. I know that I'm thinking fast, and I have learned to kind of slow down because everybody processes information differently. It's not good, it's not bad, it just is what it is, right? But I also know that life is a team sport, and you can't be in a team by yourself. So just I say that to say, just be honest with yourself about your stuff and put it on the paper. Strengths and weaknesses, those are internal. Opportunities and threats are external. So that's when you get into the stepping out part of this deal, right? So what opportunities are there that you see around? And these are opportunities for anybody just like you. So I could think of opportunities for any other marketing professor or any other MBA director. There's always an opportunity to become a something else within the organization. There is also the opportunity to become a something else with another organization. So you can step out, right? Or you can step out and up and over. What do those opportunities look like? And what are the threats? And here again, honest and candor. It's not a value judgment, it's an exercise. And all we're doing next is kind of connecting dots and lines. So don't get caught up on anything other than what it is. So what are the threats? A real threat for me in this industry and anyone else in this industry, is the next best bright shining star person. Another threat in this industry for me would be online programs where North Carolina Central is, an HBCU. We are migrating slowly back to face-to-face instruction as well as online. But, a major competitor for us are the online programs, right? What are other threats? A threat could be something else from anything that anyone else in academics can face, right? So strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. The idea then is to take your strengths and look at opportunities and see how your strengths can map up to opportunities that you wrote down. Then you look at your weaknesses. And you want to do one of two things with your weaknesses. You either want to see if you have the wherewithal to convert any of those weaknesses to strengths, or you want to make sure that none of your weaknesses map up with any potential threats. So the reason I told you to put S and W and O and T is because of the way the lines will work. So you want to take your strengths and map those up to opportunities in the environment, whatever that external marketplace is for you. You want to take your weaknesses and either mitigate those. So you want to kind of go up this way with your weaknesses to kind of get them closer to a strength, or you want to at least make sure that your weaknesses don't pose a threat in the marketplace, right? That's the nutshell of a SWOT, right? I can run through an example with a company or a brand, if you like, but I'm more interested to know what's on your minds in terms of how you might have to step out to do something different in order to step up to get to the next level. Any thoughts?
My goodness. Oh, that's so good. I've done SWOT analysis with organizations.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to do it with one of the alumni groups that I'm a part of. And we literally put up sticky notes around the room and started running around and like doing a SWOT race.
Mm-hmm.
How can we make this better? We want to make our alumni more strong. It was an alumni group at a private PWI, but it was an alumni group of black alums.
Okay.
We got to strengthen this. We will never be an HBCU. We accept that, we acknowledge it, but our Black experience has to be a certain thing. Our post Black experience needs to be a certain thing. We need to support, that type of thing. And, we need to feel supported. We need to have our own little HBCU-ish experience.
Yeah.
In this nowhere near HBCU land.
Yeah. But you create your own subculture, and tribe right there.
Absolutely. And so we did this great SWOT. But I think I've done one SWOT analysis through a group, a class, a course, a workshop that I took. But,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't redone that SWOT since. And that was about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And, I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a different SWOT pre-pandemic than the
Oh,
SWOT
yes.
post-pandemic. We're
Mm-hmm.
not even in the post yet, but I think right now is a good time, especially for people, because a lot of people right now are in a transition
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
some sort. Either they are transitioning back to work, they're
Mm-hmm.
transitioning from a position that they used to have that doesn't exist anymore, or maybe the threat has actually taken hold
Right.
because
Right.
the virtual threat is real for a lot of things,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a lot
Yeah.
of things. And if
Yeah.
you didn't adapt and shift during the pandemic, then that is a major threat for you now. And so a lot of people are in that shift.
That's right. Absolutely. I agree. Yeah.
So thinking about really the idea of stepping out to step up, or stepping out just to make a left.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to pivot. Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah,
heard somebody say that they think that's one of the most overused words, but it is what we have had to do, and we'll have to do a little bit more before this is all over. And I'm not even going to say go back to normal, because it's going to be our new reality, is what I'll call it, right?
absolutely.
It's not going to be like it was before, because we are not like we were before. Life is forever changed, and there's an indelible mark that's left on us. And yeah, people have seen what we can do virtually, and having seen that, whatever the new reality is going to include much more of a virtual presence than any of us ever probably thought would happen as quickly, right? And so um, you might not like it. You might be sick of being on a screen all day. There are even studies that suggest, people's self-esteem is suffering because they're seeing themselves on the camera, and you kind of get this distorted image of yourself, and you get all wacky and, caught up in your head about, oh, how do I look at my glasses or something? I didn't know my nose was in. All of that. I mean, seriously, but imagine if you're on a screen for 10, 12 hours a day, that does take a toll. You don't see yourself 10, 12 hours a day ordinarily in this format the way we do now. But what I am suggesting is, for sure, this will be a part of the new reality going forward.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, our opportunity is, how then do we make this work for us?
Mhm.
Right. And manage it so that it does not consume us, and or kind of become burdensome. How do we make this an effective tool, and a tool that we can kind of harness, where we use the technology for our own purposes, as opposed to the technology controlling us, right? And so
Oh, okay.
that's an old paradox from anthropology, right? And it's the technological paradox. All of this stuff was designed to make our lives easier, to free up time so that we could have stronger social interactions, right? So that's really, yeah, that's what, the phone and the dishwasher. So you don't have to spend time doing all that. You can sit with your family and your friends and talk and stare your husband into his big baby browns, and do your thing. But what's happened is, we're kind of living like this,
Right.
or like this, or with the screen off, and listening, and and we've gotten farther away socially, and now we have to be socially distant. So now we have to connect in another way, right? And what we know for sure, and studies have shown this, is that empathy does not translate virtually, right? And because it doesn't, many people are having a hard time on the screen. I have students that are having a hard time because they know that face to face they're going to get a different level of empathy than they get on a screen.
Right.
Um,
But
so
you know what? As leaders, and leaders in our own lives, as well as leaders in our businesses and the educational world, whatever industry we are part of, this is an opportunity for
mhm,
us to, one, learn to leverage the virtual and learn to communicate in a new way,
there you go.
to strengthen our relationships, because
Hmm.
this takes a different type of muscle, a different relational muscle
Hmm.
has to
Hmm.
be flexed to do this.
Right.
And if you are going to when the world opens, because it's going to open. When the world opens, if you're going to know the people that you've met during this time, or
Mhm.
grow with the people you've met during this time, or even, older relationships, if you don't want them to die, there has to be a flexed muscle of strength and relationship and communication in this space.
That's right. That's right.
Because if
Totally
not,
agree.
the idea of being an effective leader in any way, shape, or form, because
Mhm.
I truly believe and I teach that leadership is beyond the corporate. Leadership is beyond the industry. Leadership is your everyday. Every day you're leading someone, if no one else but yourself.
But yourself, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if we're going to be effective leaders in any way, shape, or form when we get out of this, we
Hmm.
have got to strengthen these muscles now, because there are going to be some people, and even now, I think about Leadership Live. I think about the Sunday shift that I do with the Refining Life, mirror image that I do with the Refining Life. I've met a lot of different people virtually, and we've had some great connection virtually. So my goal is, once this thing lifts,
Hmm.
I'm trying
Hmm.
to be everywhere. I'm going to meet these people in person. I want to go shake their hands. I want to go hear their voice in person.
Hmm.
But it won't happen, because if I lose the relationship during the current normal, if I
Hmm.
don't strengthen those
Yeah.
muscles
Right.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if I do,
Absolutely.
oh my goodness, the difference and the richness of the relationship, the
Mhm.
richness of the connection can be that
Right.
much stronger
Right.
if
That's
I
right.
only take this opportunity to strengthen the muscles that I need to strengthen, because then when I come out of it, it'll be that much.
Right. That's right. That's right. And the nice thing about it is you can do it in baby steps, right? So I was giving you the example of my belly dance class that I'm doing with a group of
Which
senior
I
citizen
love.
ladies. And it's a virtual dance class, so it was kind of blowing my head up in a whole lot of different ways. But they urged me to do it virtually. I didn't want to do it. I said, you know what? I love you all to death, and Lord knows I need to dance. I need to get to moving, because like everybody else, my COVID-19 jumped on times two, it felt like, right? So, and I said, but the deal I made with them was this. Um, Let me try it. Let's get on Zoom and let's see how it goes. It's not going to be pretty, I know, because everybody's bandwidth is different. So we're all going to be moving at a little bit of a different pace, but we're doing it for the fun of it and the joy of it, and to kind of all get together and, just kind of get to moving and to get some exercise. Um, the first couple of times I was on the ropes. They had me on the ropes. I was like, okay, now y'all got to, roll with me. Mute yourselves, ladies, mute yourselves, mute yourself. And then I just decided I was going to pay for a Zoom webinar and have them register so I could mute everybody and kind of have more control. And they appreciated it too, because then they could hear better and we could dance better. And now it is. And I am so glad that we were able to do that, because they needed that connection and that interaction. I needed the exercise. I needed to see them and to know that they were okay. And we kind of check in on each other and we pray with each other, and we make sure that everybody's doing okay. And they are replicating a very important social connection where that they used to have at the Durham Senior Center, that now they're having to replicate virtually. But it's important nonetheless. And they are a constant source of inspiration for me. Right. So I see a comment about tapping into your true strengths, right? So that you can step out. So here's the thing about strengths. And this is interesting, because I think oftentimes we want them to come packaged and shiny and wrapped up with beautiful big labels, like something that we just going to pull off of a shelf and scan and swipe and pay for, and off we go.
And it's
Uh,
gonna say, I am your strength.
Right, right. It's going to say, I am strength number one, and this is number two, and this is number three. The strengths to me are simple. Those are the things that you do with ease, that you do with, so little effort that it is almost like breathing to you. Right. And so, um, there are some people that appear to have, to me, the patience of Job.
Yes.
And that ain't Deirdre.
It's
It,
not
it,
really either.
and,
She tried,
and
but
I have
she's not.
tried, and
I'm not a Job.
and, and, and I'm like, Lord help me. I'm holding on. but it's and so I tell people, yeah, I'm going to do my best, and I can feel, when I'm getting close to that little point, and then I'm like, okay, so yeah, let's pivot, and let's, we're gonna put a little pause on that and then come back to it in a minute, right? Because I'm thinking we got to keep it moving. You gave me 45 minutes. We got 4 points to get to, and you still on point number 2. We're not gonna make it. And and I'm just but I know that's not my thing. So here, this is what I do for the people that we need a little bit more time with, that I know kind of have to marinate in their things a little bit, and even if it's cultural differences, right? So and I work with mostly men, mostly foreign men from other countries, and they have a different way of showing up in the world. They have a different way of interacting. They have a different way of communicating, and they have a different way of getting to the point. Now, you all know those people. You might be some of those people, and it's okay. But there's some people, they're gonna walk around the house before they knock on the door to come on in, right? And I'm the girl who's knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell. I'm here. Hey, you see me? I'm in the car. As a matter of fact, I'm calling you in the car. I'm pulling up to your door now, so right? And we all have to work together. So knowing that about them, right? I put on, the international negotiator Deirdre hat when I deal with those guys. And I have that, I have it in me to do. So it's not hard to do. I just have to be able to kind of tap into that. And I know that about them. And that probably gets to another strength that I didn't even list, that I think a whole lot of us have. And that is a keen sense of observation.
Yes.
And I think some of it is a little bit of female intuition that sometimes we don't want to trust, but you will observe things, and when you observe them, take note of them. I think one of the things that Dr. Maya Angelou said that I just
With
live
you. I'm
in.
right with you.
What
I'm right there.
I'm just living in it. When people
Yes.
show you and tell you who they are,
Yes.
all you
Believe
can do is believe them. Believe them. Believe them. They will show you and they will tell you. And sometimes, if it's not in the telling, if they can't even articulate it, just watch their behavior. They'll show you. And I think we have that sense to observe that way. I don't know if we necessarily plug it up in here and then take notes of what that means. Well, if you hear how people talk to their children and their wife and their administrative assistant and their don't expect them to speak to you any differently.
absolutely.
Okay, so
And if they do, they may or may not be showing you their true selves.
that's it. That's
I
it.
was watching something today, and it was a young lady, which has everything and nothing to do with this conversation at the same time. She was talking about how she was going to stop telling people what she was looking for in a mate, because it allowed them the opportunity to pretend to be that person long enough to get her attention and her time, and then show them who they really are after.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which usually 9 times out of 10 in her case turned out not to be the person she desired.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
she now has wasted time, or
Yeah.
had to learn different types of lessons
Mm-hmm.
in the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then she still had to now then move on and start again. So sometimes it is better. And so I spoke with someone not too long ago about this, and the power of the hush.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you gotta hush and watch.
Mm-hmm.
Just hush and watch. Because if you do that, you're allowing people the opportunity to do what you are hoping to do all the time, which is to show your true self.
Mm-hmm.
I think about Elsa from Frozen, which is
Mm-hmm.
crazy, but I have kids, so this is what we watch. And it's in the second movie, she has this whole thing where she is really coming into who she truly is and learning her new honest self and showing up as her. And she starts showing up as her in the first one. And the second, she really is truly there. And so we are striving every day to walk in our truth, walk in our honesty, discover our truth, discover honesty, and be that. But everybody else is doing it too. So don't give them the need to fake it until they make it.
That's right. That's right.
Let them
That's
be
right.
who they are. And if there's growth points, great. Maybe there
Sure.
is, weakness and they're mitigating to the strength.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
if it's just a weakness or just threat city, like it's
Mm-hmm.
never going to come out of here, that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. I need
Mm-hmm.
you to show yourself. I need
Right.
you to be
That's
you.
right.
Don't fake who you think I want you to be. No, I need you to
Mm-hmm.
be you so
Mm-hmm.
we can determine whether or not this is the best fit for you. If we need to pivot your role, if, oh, this is your real strength, honey, then why are you in this position? Let me fix
Right.
you.
Exactly. That's
Because
right.
I
That is
needed you
right.
over here anyway.
Sure. That's
I
right.
needed
That's
you, but I didn't know you because you didn't ever show me.
yeah. Yeah. That's
Jeez.
it. Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that person in that way, their honesty and our honest and sometimes is the stepping out
That's right. That's right.
so that
Absolutely.
we can step up.
That's right. And I think that the more comfortable you become as a leader, the more you learn to trust your own intuition. Um, the more you feel comfortable, not only in your own truth, but also, whenever you act with integrity, whenever you act with integrity, you have nothing to hide. So you see, you can never accuse me of having an ulterior motive about a thing when I am living in truth and I'm acting in integrity. And I'll give you an example. And this almost cracked me up for a minute, but it did kind of crack me up. Um, my dean, in a weekly update, we do weekly updates, said that one of my colleagues told him that I sent an email out and my emails were too long and something in the email offended him. He said he got over it, but it initially it offended him. And I said, "What?" And after my head only spun around one time.
Oh,
I
good. Just
said,
136.
"You know what? He knows me and he has known me for 12 years because we have worked together from the very beginning. And he knows that I'm a straight shooter. And he knows that I'm going to put in writing those things that need to be in writing.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, but if he needs me to call him, I'll call him and give him a special invitation to participate. I said, but let me tell you this. He's a grown ass man and he should feel comfortable enough to tell me when he has an issue or a problem with me, as opposed to telling his boss. I said, now that's just between you and me. I'm not going to tell him that for sure, but I want you to know that that's how I really feel about it. Now, the other girl in my head has some other choice words and ways that I would describe him, but I was. And
Tell me
I was
why.
yeah, and my dean may have heard a few of those from time to time, but I say this to say it was not at all a challenge for me to call this colleague and to tell him that I in no way meant to offend him, that my comments, were coming from what I think is in the best interest of our students. And because it was, from a point of integrity, I didn't have any ego about it. It wasn't a big deal. Now, I think it's pitiful for a big old grown man, like for real, to go tell the boss before you come and talk to me. But that's beyond the scope of your program. That's beyond the scope of my counseling and advising ability. So we're gonna leave that there. But the point remains the same. So see, you can't poke holes in my game. You cannot throw darts at me. You can't try to knock me down. And people will come at you. So get ready. The haters will come out and they're gonna come out for a whole lot of reasons that have nothing to do with you. But if you are living in integrity and you are acting in honesty and truth and you know why you're doing what you do, it's okay.
It's
It is
okay.
okay. It's okay. It's all good. It is
I
all
say
good.
all the time that those people aren't your people and or they are your people. You need those haters sometimes to remind you that you are doing great.
Yeah. If you ain't got no haters,
Hello?
but what's interesting is what is interesting is that oftentimes what those people are able to do is to show the rest of the team some of your best qualities, because it's at those moments when the haters rear their ugly heads and start to come at you with all kinds of stuff that you can kind of take a breath and say, you know what? You're absolutely right. And the reason that this is not a problem is because we've already thought of X, Y, and Z. And the reason that, and then you just start to shoot them down one at a time. It's like next, boom. What's his name? The guy who's hitting swatting all the balls on the commercials. The big
Oh,
dog.
Matembe Mutombo.
Yes,
It's
that's
one of
all
my
you're
favorite
doing.
commercials.
That's all you're doing. Next, what else you got? And so now, when I'm in a meeting with the haters, what do? Who wrote it? You don't quit, you pivot. I say, we're going to do some. Any questions? Questions? Next. What else? What else? Any more? Yes. You have questions? I'm like, come on. I'm like, come. This is what I'm telling you. Bring it to me. Because when you see that I know what I know, it's not just you seeing it. Everybody else gonna see it too.
Everybody else sees it too. And all they're doing is helping to validate your impact.
Right. That's it.
And you have any questions? I'm ready for that.
And you never know who else is watching and who else is listening.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's how, and the end to that first story that I told you is that I still serve on that committee, and that dean I still work with. And I circled back with her and thanked her for considering me for the position, because I knew with 100% certainty that had she not thought of me for that position, my dean would not have thought of me for the position that I'm in.
Absolutely.
Right?
Sometimes people have to see what other people see. I think that happens in relationships a lot too.
Sometimes you don't look cute enough until somebody else starts flirting with you.
Right. You got real gorgeous. Matter of fact, let me get down on this knee. Let me propose. Let me put a ring on it. Because I will be John Brown if somebody else is going to step up and take this. Oh, now you're the good thing.
Right. Oh, now wait a minute. Oh yeah, girl. Hey. Yeah, what's up?
Now I can see clearly now because somebody else saw it first. Right. Sometimes other people have to speak and see what they say, and then other people, oh, hold on, I see that too.
And it's not just in relationships. It's it is in expanding people's view of who you are and what you're capable of. Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think most leaders want. That is what I want as a leader. I don't want to be limited or pigeonholed. You may have bought a chapter in this book, but there's a whole book to Deirdre.
Hello, it's chapter and verse. It's multiple chapters. It may be in edition 1, 2, and 3.
There you go. That's it. That is
purpose it all. But I love that first story, just for the other aspect of the fact that you were doing the work of simply going to committee meetings and showing up in the committee meeting. You were showing up outside of your job, your true job description, even though your committees are on your job description.
Right.
Especially if you're seeking tenure at a university. They love your committee work. But simply by showing up and being who you were genuinely and living in your truth, living in your belief, because you believed in being on time. You believed in, if you're going to be there, then be there.
Do the work. Yeah, that's right.
And then that got noticed. It wasn't anything. You stepped out simply by doing the other thing. You were just doing it just how you are. You stepped out in that role in excellence. And that is what gave you an opportunity to step up before you stepped up.
That's it. And some of what we had to do in the committee was work that some of my colleagues were dismissive of. I don't know if they thought it was beneath them but that was our subcommittee assignment. So I was going to do it, and I did it, and consistently did it, and did it when I didn't feel like doing it. because of my own personal sense of integrity. Because at the end of the day, the person that I have to answer to and be accountable to and look in the mirror at and say, okay, did you give it your best this day, is me. It wasn't, on a subcommittee, it wasn't about trying to impress anybody. It was about doing the work of the committee. And oftentimes it is in those settings when it's not glamorous, when it's not exciting, when the cameras are not rolling, when nobody else is watching, where the hard work and the effort that you put in and day out, that's where it begins to come to fruition. And you just never know who's watching. You never know.
So can we back up just a little bit? You talked about the year 5 versus the year 10, and just having that unction that, you know what, it is time. I think of Rafiki in my mind. I have a lot of Disney references in my brain.
Okay.
But I think about Rafiki, and he was talking to Simba when it was time for Simba to return. But Simba had gone through this whole journey of self-discovery, of becoming comfortable with him, of shifting his own thoughts about himself, about where he lived. And sometimes we are, in the process of doing what we do, of being excellent, of being great, of even enjoying the job that we have and being impactful and great and awesome in that position, we end up having this whole change of spirit, a shift of spirit. And now, and you're living this whole separate life in addition to this other piece of you, and you've had these experiences, and now, it's now bubbled up in me. It's time.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. And I am a firm believer that those feelings bubble up and emerge at the right time, that if you're feeling it, it's for a reason. The same way if you're desirous of something, it's for a reason, right? It's there to teach you a lesson. And so why not explore it, and see what it has to offer. And I'll tell you this, I was once told that the difference between a novice and an expert is not years of experience, is not all the bells and whistles. It's that an expert knows that if something goes wrong, they can make it right. A novice doesn't have that in their skill set. So think about cooking. So anybody who cooks, if you start cooking and you see it's not quite turning out the way you want, if you're a skilled cook, not even a trained chef, but if you're a skilled cook, then you know how to fix it. If your gravy is too thin, you know how to put a little bit more cornstarch in it, to make a slurry, mix up some flour, some cornstarch, or make you a little roux and make it a little bit thicker. If it's tasting, too salty, you can water it down and kind of get rid of some of the salt. You put some lemon juice in it. So you have in your skill set, in your arsenal, some tricks of the trade that you know how to course correct. A novice only knows one way to do it. All I know is to stir this. The thing says stir it up until it's done. Put a teaspoon of salt, but now I can't. It's too salty. I can't handle it. But that skill set, that confidence, that ability to kind of taste it along the way and say, wait a minute, it's not quite there. Those are lessons that come over time for sure, but they're also the learning that comes from the lesson, because you can bake a bad cake 10 times if you don't learn the lesson, right? So you can learn, but and don't lose the lesson, right? So if you do it the same way 10 times, now hold up now. If we're going to do it the same way 10 times and you're going to expect something different, what's wrong, you or the cake recipe? Like for real, right?
But hell of the definition, if you keep doing something the same time expecting a different result, isn't that the definition for insanity?
Absolutely. Well, it's the same thinking, same set of skills, but now just put it into your job, into your career, into the next step, into wherever it is you want to go. Take that same, I don't care what you call it, intuition, mother wit, black girl magic, whatever it is, we have it, tap into it and use it. But use it in all aspects of your life, because it's the same stuff. It comes from the same place, right? So use it to your benefit, right? The same way, when your child has done something they ain't had no business. You can see guilt all over their face.
Yes,
you have probably worked with most of your colleagues long enough to know if somebody come in there with their head down with the piece of paper, they up to no good. Somebody being sheepish about something. It's there for a reason, right? Observe it. And to your point, hush and just observe sometimes. but learn the lesson along the way. Don't just observe and say, I wonder why they did that. Say, I wonder why they did that. Something might have been going on. Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have just a few minutes left, and I want to go to the thought of some people, and I think we've all probably come to this moment where we've gotten frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we're frustrated, and it's time to be frustrated and push through versus frustrated and move on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can you speak to the
Okay.
differences that you've seen or experienced with that?
Yeah. 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 Um, so a friend of mine often tells me, because she knows how fast I move, she often tells me, don't make any important decision too fast and don't make it out of anger or frustration.
Mm.
Right? Because those are kind of fleeting emotions. But you can be frustrated for a long time, but you want to be clear in your purpose and your vision. And typically frustration is your internal response to something external, right? And I'm all about finding what it is inside of you that brings you joy and passion and happiness, and that's what you pursue. So get in touch with what it is. What is it that you're frustrated about? What is it that that drives you bananas? So what I knew for sure about me in the classroom was, not that I was so good at what I was doing. I'm good at what I do, but not that I was, just some magical wizard, but I had done it so much that it was becoming routine, and I was losing the excitement. Now my students were still because they'd never heard it before. Because if they heard it before, hopefully they wouldn't have been there. And if they heard it before, that means they didn't get it the first time, right? So, but I can't take the credit for it. It's just new material to them, and it should be because they're learning. But it wasn't exciting, and it wasn't jazzing me up the way that it used to be, that it used to. So my frustration was that I didn't have the same fire and energy for the position. I still love being in the classroom, but I wasn't bringing to it that I used to. And so my frustration was that I was seeing around me a lot of things that I thought I had the ability to help change. And that's kind of a healthy frustration. But the push through was about, lining up or aligning things so that the timing works and it works for everyone, right? And the timing is for kind of the best, highest purpose. And the timing is just to not get you out of that spot because you're frustrated, but the timing is to move you into the position and the place that you need to be. And so sometimes you push through, right, till you get to the right spot, and you push through until the timing is right. I could have probably, I could have gone to another institution, right? For sure. You can, that's always an option for an academic. You keep that CV, nice and neat. Every time you write another paper, every time you have another committee, you put that on there. You ready, set, go. But that would have alleviated my frustration. It would have not fulfilled my desire, right, to kind of tap into additional skills and to do something different and to kind of get the excitement and motivation back. What this position has allowed me to do is to tap into the creativity and to work, with other skills that I have, and then to bring that passion back into the classroom, which is really what I was frustrated about to begin with.
Right. Wow. Let me tell you, this, as Yolanda said, this has just been jam packed with wisdom and knowledge. I mean, this has been so good, and I think that we've been on topic, but we've also been able to explore other things. And one of the biggest takeaways that I take away from this today is one, tapping into your passion, especially when you're frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know what it is. Why am I so frustrated? Is it frustrated just because somebody did something stupid today? Because that happened. Or am I frustrated because I really, my passion either has shifted or I'm not truly adhering to its reality. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that some of us don't take the time to really write down, because I think there's something in the writing. There's
Mm-hmm.
something in the writing. And
Mm-hmm.
we don't write the vision.
Mm-hmm.
and make it plain to ourselves.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is what, this is what my passion is. This is my desire. This is what I really see. This is what has been laid on my heart. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I want to accomplish in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because I want to accomplish this, I am nowhere near it right now. And as a matter of fact, right now, I realize that and I've learned in this time, in these years, in this decade, that what I'm doing right now is not at all feeding this passion. Do I need to step out and go?
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to go teach a belly dance class? Because I too am a dancer, and I
Mm-hmm.
am thankful to have found opportunities
Yeah.
throughout the past like couple of years
Mm-hmm.
to express myself. I'm a dancer, I'm a singer, I'm a performer. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had opportunities to do that. It's still not time for me to move to New York, even though I said at some point in time, I may still, my Broadway dream may come true. I realize that people have proven you're never too old until you die. Um, but now is apparently not my time. But I've found ways to express myself in that way and to allow those passions to be fruitful, but then I also have a passion for growing other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, leadership coaching and working with clients one-on-one, that is huge for me. And, I have a passion for helping people shift their mindset so that they can find that inner joy, so that they
Sure.
can be their more pure self, thus the refining life. I have a
Mm-hmm.
whole nonprofit and, having other people with me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So those have been my step out moments to make sure that my passions and my purpose are really aligning with my actions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so just to hear you talk about your passions and to hear the different things that you've done, the fact being that you published a cookbook, I think is ginormous.
Thank you.
And so, but thinking about oral histories through food,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
so true for so many.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I
so
did
you,
that in 1998, and I ended up writing my dissertation on food and eating habits and consumer behavior and marketing and how those things all kind of tie together. So, yeah, life is, as I mentioned earlier, all of those different things, all of those different areas where you are interested, where you excel, they kind of give your heart joy. They are going to come and connect at the most serendipitous moments, if you will. And do know that the passion that you have in one area can absolutely be a wellspring of creativity in another, right?
absolutely. I
Yeah,
think
I
about
agree.
when I was a principal, I was a performer. I
Hmm.
performed regularly. My poor
Sure.
teachers, I know I got on their nerves sometimes because they would get it all. Their class would just get it when Dr. Webb came to the door. Here she
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
Hello. Um,
Exactly.
but it
Exactly.
worked. And like you talked about timing, the
Hmm.
timing was right for that. And the
Hmm.
place
Hmm.
was right for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Keep a journal near your bed. I will often dream of things, whatever it is that has been floating around in my head, and then I'll wake up and say, "Okay, I think I dreamt of a solution." I do that with choreography all the time. Uh, I mean, yeah, but so this, and I think that there's just something about being open to the creative process, right? That allows it to hit you in different ways at different points, and you just kind of have to be open and receptive. And for some people, it's in the middle of the night, and it might wake them up. For me, it feels like a dream, and as long as I can capture it, I'm fine. I am not necessarily the morning girl by design, so I just hope the dream holds on until I get a couple of cups of coffee and be able to jot it down. But wherever those ideas and inspirations pop up, hold on to them. Now, I will say this, if you haven't heard it before, and I'm a firm believer in it, the longer I live on this earth and occupy space on the planet. um, Someone once asked Michael Jackson why he worked so hard and stayed up so late and kept kind of crazy hours and would just kind of go into the studio and write and write and write. And he said that, I'm paraphrasing, of course, that essentially he thought that the ideas kind of came like from this river of ideas. And if he had an idea for a song, if he didn't take it and work on it, then he knew that Prince would grab it and do it. So I think the same thing. I think the ideas, like great ideas, come to everybody. But the difference between, the people that take them and run away with them and the ones who said, you know what, I had that idea, are the people who act on them. You have to act on the vision, act on the idea, act on the dream, act on the inspiration, act on the motivation, act on the intuition, whatever it is, because you don't know and you'll never know. And you sure don't want to be that little old lady in the rocking chair wondering what if. I wonder what would happen if I'd have taken that idea and ran with it. It sounded kind of crazy at the time to take a big paper towel and cut it into 3 pieces.
But let me tell you, my mama's been doing that for years. She does the paper towel, conservative.
Girl, my grandmother did it when we were little kids, and we would crack up laughing that she was too cheap to give us a whole sheet of paper towel. And now Scott is making millions off of it. And my mom told me that now you can cut them. They have perforations vertically and horizontally. So now you can take a paper towel and make a napkin. Yeah. Have we not been doing that forever? And good and well, a Black person, as Scott, told them, take that paper towel and cut it into 3 pieces. Somebody's grandma told them to do that, right?
Because we've been taking those dinner napkins and breaking them into 4s for years. The little kids' table don't need full.
No, they don't. No.
Y'all share that.
And we are laughing, but honestly, perforating a paper towel has made Scott Selecta size millions of dollars.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you think about it, it makes great sense.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I know that we have gone over my traditional hour. I knew we would.
You knew?
I knew from our very first phone conversation, I knew that this was going to be that type of night in a great way. But I want to say thank you. I put in my mention about this post on my personal page that you are clutch, because you are. You came right on through, and I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you for your candor. I appreciate you for your authenticity, and just being who you are, which is excellence personified.
Oh, thank you. It is my pleasure. I am so happy that you reached out to Shaughnessy and that she reached out to me. It's my pleasure. It is absolutely my pleasure. And I've had a ball. I've enjoyed talking to you. I have enjoyed learning about you and your vision. And I just pray that you will continue to do it, and that you will continue to grow, and that there is, a wonderful blessing and anointing over all that you touch. So my prayer for you is nothing but the best that God has in store.
Amen. Well, everyone under the sound of my voice, whether you are live or on the replay, I want you to know that I'm going to do my best to make sure that this is not the last time that we share time and space with Dr. Deirdre. I do have a vision for some things coming later this year, and I hope that you will be a part of. I will make you privy to that information. But you have truly blessed us today. You have given us some great things to think about. I think everybody who's been here and is ready to rock already has their SWOT written down. They're going to SWOT analyze themselves this evening.
There you go.
Or for a lifetime. Our timing will be great, and we will walk in our honesty. And we will observe and just be ready for the step out to step up. We will be ready. We will be ready.
Good.
I also love your love of the arts. My daughter and I are actually hosting an arts-a-thon April 16th, 17th, and 18th. We'll do it virtually, of course, because we're adapting to this space. But we're raising funds for 2 local arts programs that have been slammed by the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
But we're also getting the opportunity to highlight some amazing local and national artists. So I hope that you will participate, watch, support, and share, as well as every single person out there. It's going to be dynamic, and I am just grateful for the impact that we will have on those organizations. The Refining Life is our partner in that. So that everybody who donates, all funds will be tax deductible. So that's always good. Who doesn't need a good tax deduction, especially in 2021? But we are going to wrap this evening. We will get back together again. I want to thank every single person who took the time to learn more, to gain and gather more wisdom from this beautiful woman. It was just a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure. So we have now concluded what week 13, 14
Wow,
of
yeah.
Leadership Live. That means we are 14 weeks into 2021. It is April,
Mhm.
and it feels like 2021 just started last week. But next week we'll be here live once again for week 15 of Leadership Live with another dynamic leader. I am looking so forward to spending time with her. I am looking forward to my time with you again in the future. You hear I keep saying this. I'm speaking it into existence. I want to thank personally live in front of everybody, Shaughnessy Reed Bledsoe for making this happen today. It is because of you that this beautiful woman is before us today. So everyone out there, I love you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you do your SWOT analysis. This is not just for play. This is not just for observation. This is for change and enhancement of your life. And
Mhm.
so I invite you to watch this program again if you need to, but most definitely always keep your leadership all the way live. And I'll see you right back here next week at 9 p.m. on Monday for Leadership Live Week 15. Have a great evening. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.